Adventure Force Commandfire from Primetime Toys was probably my favorite blaster of 2018. There was really only a couple of blasters on that list that I really enjoyed, and the Commandfire was definitely one of them. It was cheap, it was highly effective, it does something that no other blaster kind of did at the time. I mean, I even took one and converted it into a wearable gauntlet with a finger keyring trigger that does in fact have a 2-stage pull on it, which you haven't seen because I haven't quite figured out exactly how I'm going to finish this thing yet, but I should have it done before the end of the summer. I have a big, huge plan for what is otherwise a really simple build. But that being said, before I could even finish that thing, Dart Zone came out with a new one. Dart Zone, Adventure Force, those are both toy lines, part of toy lines, under the Primetime Toys line, and I actually got my hands on this thing at FoamCon. When I went to flew to Georgia for End War and stuff like that, FoamCon was the day before, and they had all their new blasters there. So for all the people who continuously ask me, have I seen X blaster from Dart Zone? Yes! Yes, I have. I saw it a month ago. But this showed up at the local Target, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on one because these, it's basically a Commandfire, but there's enough changes here to actually make this worthwhile. Plus, it looks a heck of a lot cooler, man. This is an absolute, well, Destructor. So yes, if you haven't seen the Commandfire before, this is going to be completely new to you, but the biggest takeaway here is the rapid load hopper always ready for battle, which instead of filling up a magazine or putting darts into a turret or anything, you literally just put darts into this hopper and it will fire them out. And this one has a different hopper design than the Commandfire, which should make it way better for feeding darts in. The Commandfire wasn't that bad, but it did obviously have some issues. But this hopper only holds 30 darts, as opposed to the 40 the Commandfire held, which is a bit interesting. On the back of it, it's pretty much the same thing. You do have a new grip, which is awesome. Man, I wish companies would do this kind of grip more often because you can, look at that. So you basically have like a palm style safety. That's your rev bar. Then you have a trigger. It is a full auto blaster after all. You have a foregrip, which they've pointed out. They've actually pointed out the sling mounts, which is important because something like this is an amazing secondary, and they are just fully adapting to that. You've got the hopper, which you do have to make sure all your darts are kind of in the same orientation, but really easy to just drop in there. And of course, you can top off the hopper as well. You don't have to open up the entire mechanism. You could just pull open the little slide door and just kind of shove darts in there individually, which is interesting. Like, is that going to be all that useful? I have no idea, but at least it does it. So they really took the idea of the Commandfire and tried to make it as basically perfect as they could get it. I can excuse the less darts in the hopper as long as this thing functions all right. And, well, I need to get it out of the box because it looks awesome. The blaster itself, and of course, I always love these packages where it's really easy to get the darts out, and if I don't want to use the darts, which in this case I don't because I already have boxes of them, I can just keep that and put that in my dart box. So right off the bat, yes, this thing is super comfortable. Again, it's going to be a little awkward to get used to the fact that you have to kind of push down on that or just grip it tightly and kind of get used to flexing on that, but trigger is really responsive. Hopper has a lock, so it's not going to just accidentally bump open. The foregrip right here is a little awkward looking, but it has 2 positions and it's really comfortable. It's just a big, kind of rounded, comfortable thing, but you could also hold it like this if you really wanted to. So it's a little bit different because you still have to hold the blaster like this, you know what I mean? But you can hold it kind of rifle-ish if you please. Right here's a little door where you can just kind of pop it open and drop single darts in there if you wish. And then of course, if we push that forward, we can open up the hopper assembly. And as you notice, it swings out one way now as opposed to falling back. However, the internals in this thing have been upgraded to be far better when it comes to knocking around darts and stuff in here to make sure they flow effortlessly into the feeding belt. And basically, that is going to rotate and that's going to pop darts into the flywheels and that's going to make it shoot, which is an extremely efficient system as long as this works right. which is going to be the most important question. It is powered by AA batteries, I believe either 4 or 6 of them, so we're going to have to open this up. 6 AA batteries, eh? Just like the Commandfire. There we go. Now the thing revs up, and it revs up really quick. That is good to know. That doesn't sound too good. Hopefully. Oh, that's what keeps that there. What was exactly... Okay, so you can no longer rev it with the thing open. So we're just going to take a handful of darts in here. And I just... Well, you got to be somewhat careful with them, at least the first couple. After that, you should be fine. Let's just kind of... Oh! I mean, it technically will fire darts backwards, but let's do something like that. Let's close this down. And... Ow! Ow! Okay, well, I guess I'm not used to high-powered flywheelers, because this thing hits really hard. Let's use you. Jeez! Oh, the fire rate is really good as well. Oh, oh no! I might like this more than my Commandfire. So the biggest issue that I have right off the bat with it, of course, is the fact that the hopper now opens up on one side like that. And of course, the gauntlet I've already made is the left-handed gauntlet. This probably would have been a lot better, unfortunately, because it's also a little bit thinner too. Let's load this thing fully up and put it over the chronograph and see exactly what it's doing. But that was a pretty good rate of fire, I would say. That seemed faster. It seems a lot snappier than the original Commandfire. Alright, so this thing hit really hard earlier, and I want to see exactly how hard it's hitting. So let's put a couple of shots over the chronograph here. 92? 90? Oh, that was 2. There's a 99. Well, nearly 100 FPS, but that's still amazingly good for a $30 flywheel blaster with a hopper that you can just shove darts into. That's incredible. So I've had some time to kind of sit on this, because I really wanted to formulate an opinion before I finished out this video, and I gotta say, I'm extremely impressed. This is what I like to see companies do, and this is kind of what companies like Hasbro don't do all that much. They took a pre-existing concept. It is a reshell, so to speak. However, they changed a lot of things to make it not only much cooler, because trust me, this looks way better than a Commandfire ever would, but they also made a lot of smart design changes. The little pivoting foregrip thing up here that you can use. The handle is just incredible. It really reminds me, I know I talk about this a lot, but Soul Bad Guy's Junkyard Dog, this like square boxy shape really reminds me of that, and I love these kinds of grips. And this little side loading door, which really honestly wasn't that great to use, but hey, it's an extra function. But when I sit down and I look at this and I think about it, because it is an excellent blaster, you can hit upwards of 90 FPS relatively easily. The rate of fire is good. The hopper feeds pretty reliably. It's not that hard to single shot, although it's definitely harder to single shot than the original Commandfire because this thing fires so fast. Yes, you have 10 less darts, or so it claims. I have 35 in here, and it's just perfectly fine, but you get the idea. But the way this thing is set up, because you've got a sling point right here and you've got a sling point up here with the grip being right here, and it's not a very overall big blaster, this would be an excellent secondary, especially since you could just open up the hopper and fill in what you need, clamp that shut, and use that. But you can have this slung on your side and easily just reach down and start firing with it. Like if you could mount this on your left-hand side and literally just either had it pointing straight down like that and have it rotate up on your hip, or even just have it constantly there, so you can just reach down, grab the grip, and just fire off a bunch of darts. Like, that's an amazing... This is an incredible blaster. I can't get over that. Dart Zone has done what I wish every company would do. Like, I'm still waiting for a better Infinus with regulator internals in it. Like, that needs to be a thing, but we're not getting that from Hasbro for some reason. Instead, we're getting things like the Perseus and the Titan, which they're cool, but they're really expensive. And then you get something like this, which is, yes, kind of a reshell, slightly cheaper, unless you get one of the clearance Commandfires, but a whole lot of extra features added to make it worthwhile getting, even if you already have a Commandfire. And if you don't have a Commandfire, you definitely need to pick one of these up if you can deal with flywheels and whatnot. I don't think this is gonna let you down, and I gotta say, this is going to get probably my choice for the best beginner blaster you could possibly get right now. I gave that to Dart Zone's Titan Fire, or whatever they called it now, the Light Command when that came out, because that was an excellent blaster. The Commandfire, even better, and this, I think, is probably the pinnacle of that. It uses a cheap, easy to get ammo, it's really easy to use, doesn't require a whole bunch of tack gear or anything like that, it doesn't require a bunch of magazines or anything, it's powerful enough, even if you go to a super stock war, you're gonna be able to do something with this, especially as a support gunner. It's a very competitive, compact, easy to use with lots of little features that make it worth picking up blaster, and I'm blown away. Seriously, Primetime Toys, you have done it. I was not sent this blaster for review. I bought this myself. Well, Luchathor picked it up for me, so thank you very much for that, Luchathor13. I really appreciate it, but I have to pay him, of course. That being said, I really do think this blaster is something that most people should pay attention to, and if you missed on the Commandfire, this is definitely an upgrade, and for $30, you can't really go wrong. To be perfectly honest though, I might remove this whole bottom thing right here, because this is just empty space to me right now. Again, with the grip on the Commandfire, I didn't really like it, and this, yeah, I'm never gonna use this, so probably gonna have to bandsaw that off. Let me know what you think about the Dart Zone Destructor down in the comment section below, and if you come up with any ideas for it that I haven't, because this is exciting times. This is a very good blaster in a sea of pretty meh releases from a lot of other companies. I'm Walcom S7, thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one. It looks like the little X face, like, it looks like an emoji.
You gotta